What is going on, Jerome's? So we're back recapping the divisional round in what quite possibly could be the greatest weekend in NFL history. Actually, I will say that it was, even though recency bias, yes, but wow. And I've said for a long time, the divisional round, calendar-wise, is the best weekend in every single season because you have teams that either got the one seed or two teams got the bye from back in the day, as well as teams that already won a playoff game. So you're getting the creme de la creme, and especially after that wild card weekend, which was just garbage. All 6 of the games sucked except for the Niners-Cowboys, but now we were treated to 4 amazing games that all came down to the last play. It was just gorgeous, man. It was a good time. And yes, even though our Vikings are not in it, they're going to hire the new GM, maybe Ryan Poles. They're going to hire the new head coach this week in all likelihood. So the dawn is nigh. I don't know. Sorry, I couldn't think of the turn of phrase right then. But yeah, future's bright. Also, the greasy grime of Green Bay Packers. Down goes Frazier. It's beautiful, man. It was not a good time to be a 1 seed. That is for damn sure. But we're going to go through the games because this was just amazing. So we're going to go in order, even though, the first game, not as important to us, but jumping Joe Burrow. Like, I have adopted the Bengals as my secondary team that I'm rooting for. I love me some Joe Burrow. I love me Jamar Chase. Cincinnati getting it done, baby. On the road, 2 in a row. Bengals, man. So, where do we start with this? Because Tennessee... I feel bad for Titans fans. A, because they had to live through the Jeff Fisher years, and they went to the Super Bowl and then just came up just that close. Kevin Dyson, who? Mike Jones? That's right. But Tennessee, you deserve better, man. You do. Where, hey, everyone was hyped. Tennessee, the AFC goes through Nashville, and you have Derrick Henry coming back, but Derrick Henry looked like a guy who had a metal plate put in his foot and hasn't played football in a couple months. That's exactly what he looked hesitant, and I understand he scored a touchdown, but I've never seen Derrick Henry run on skates like that. Like he was, I did not recognize who that guy was running the football. But Tannehill, yeah, like with Arthur Smith last year, they did a phenomenal job masking Tannehill, right? And I don't think that Todd Downing did a good enough job in this week. I mean, that's pretty obvious there. But Tannehill just serving up that meatball to set up the Bengals game-winning field goal. Where, I mean, the Bengals, they got the business. Like, the Tennessee Titans defense got after Joe Burrow's ass. I think he had 20 pressures. He had 9 sacks. So they did a damn good job. They did enough to win. But Tannehill just serving one up. Well, multiple up. Giving 3 interceptions in one game. Come on, man. Come on. But, yeah, A.J. Brown deserves better. I mean, 5 for $142 and a touchdown. A.J. Brown, for me, is a top 5 receiver in this game. Jamar Chase getting it done. 5 for 109. Woo! That's right. Where also, it was funny being a hardy Midwesterner, seeing all the people in Nashville just like freak out because it was 30 degrees. But, man, Bengals, Chiefs. AFC title game. Let's go. Yeah, we'll get into Bills Chiefs here in a second, but it was great. Now, so that was the Asmoose Boosh. Now we're going to go into the appetizer. Where, have you ever had a dinner where the appetizer is the best part of the meal? Like, this was it. This is it, man. So, again, where do we even start with this? The Packers defense, they definitely did enough. The weather was a big part of it too, but Jimmy G threw for like 6 feet. Like, they don't even measure his distance in yards, even though, I mean, respect. Jimmy was delivering a couple of balls where the receivers just dropped. Like, he frankly should have been better than 11 to 19 for passing. But yeah, the Packers defense had him dead to rights. They weren't doing anything. They were hemming in Elijah Mitchell as well as Debo to a degree until the end. But man, like, how does a team on the road against the 1 seed, a warm weather team going to a cold weather venue, and they don't score any offensive or defensive touchdowns, and they win? Like, how embarrassing is that? By the way, DeMeco Ryans, our guy, future Vikings head coach, just doing fantastic things against Aaron Rodgers, where they only had 196 yards net passing. They sacked Rodgers 5 times. They got after that ass. Devontae Adams was relatively scooped up, even though 9 for 90 on 11 targets. Yeah. Aaron Jones, a big chunk of his receiving is on that wheel route. By the way, when they had that 75-yard wheel route to Jones, they came away with 0. Goose egg, D'Angelo Russell points. And I understand everyone's going to be like, well, Aaron Rodgers doesn't kick field goals, so Mason Crosby left points on the board. You could have scored touchdowns, but you didn't. Isn't that what you're supposed to do at home? Nah. Go, pack, blow. That's right. Where the Packer, like, if you're a Packer fan, like, I don't empathize, but I understand where the Packers should have been up, 24-10 late in this game, 24-3 before the blocked punt for a touchdown. So it's just a thing of beauty, man. Plus, Rodgers' post-game comments, you know that he's gone. Deuces. They could tag Devontae Adams for Jordan Love, or they could tag and trade him to the Raiders, which makes a little bit more sense. But, man, it's just beautiful, man. Where all of the blustering and bloviating that we've heard from Packers fans all year, even though we've said, we've been extremely consistent with this. You look at the Packers schedule, they always seem to get teams at their most inopportune times, where the team has a major injury, the team has some COVID issues, etc. And the Packers were just tiptoeing through the tulips. But now they got smacked. They got exposed. There's a reason why every Packers fan that I talked to did not want to see the Niners, because they matched up best against them. And respect. I mean, the Niners defense did enough to keep them in the game. And then Jimmy G on that final drive, getting them in field goal range. Robbie Gould, I bet you the Bears wish, hey, we shouldn't have gotten rid of Robbie Gould 3 years ago, or wherever it was. But it's a thing of beauty, man. Like, I'm rooting for the Niners too, because I have some issues with the Rams. We'll get to them in a second. So the Rams going to Tampa Bay, and they almost blow it. Like, they got up big early, taking a 20-3 lead into halftime, and then Tom Brady said, F you. F you, F that. Well, Cam Akers actually said, F you. Here we go. Fumbling all the balls. So I felt really bad for Cam Akers. I thought that he was going to head into Ernest Biner territory, where Tom Brady, that final drive where everyone on the Rams sideline, you could not squeeze like a single, screw Adam, like you could not squeeze an electron through some of those sphincters, where they're like, oh, Tom Brady's freaking doing it again. Like, we're blowing this lead and he's coming all the way back, and it was just amazing. It was cold-blooded. But Matthew Stafford, Matthew Stafford, Detroit, I always respected him. I think that he was a tough competitor, but there was a reason why he never won any playoff games in Detroit, and not because it's Detroit. I mean, like, he had first ballot Hall of Fame wide receiver Calvin Johnson majority of his time in Detroit, so blah, blah, blah. But put him with Sean McVay, one of the greatest offensive minds of our time. Cooper Kupp is playing like a top 2 wide receiver in the game right now, and I don't even know that he's 2, right? But that final play, man, just the stones of that throw. And Todd Bowles, who is reportedly going to get a second interview with the Vikings. I don't know. Zero blitzing, leaving our guy, our boy Antoine Winfield, exposed like that on Cooper Kupp. How dare you? How dare you? But yeah, so respect to the Rams. I am completely rooting against the Rams, though, because I am so sick and tired of the media narrative. Well, Matthew Stafford, he's a savior. Is he a Hall of Famer? Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm done with that. Sick of it. So I actually hope that Jimmy G makes it to the Super Bowl again, where he's playing even worse than the year that they went and lost to the Chiefs, where we've said numerous times, if you put Kirk Cousins on that Niners team, they win, because he hits that post route to Emmanuel Sanders. But this is like when William Hung kept getting voted ahead on American Idol because people thought it was funny. I want Jimmy Garoppolo to go into the Rams game, go into SoFi, and throw for like 2 yards, and then the Niners win. And everyone's like, Jimmy G does it again. Great times, man. But this could be it. This could be it for Tom Brady. I actually do believe the retirement rumors this time around. I think that he found that it is not as easy as it seems. Like when you lose Godwin, when Antonio Brown just says deuces, right? So I think that he may bounce, especially if Leftwich leaves. Nailed it. Really good at talking this morning. BA says that he's coming back, but of course, why wouldn't he? Leonard Fournette might leave in free agency. So, I mean, this Bucs team, it was much ballyhoo that they returned all 22 starters. I think it may start breaking apart because Godwin was on the franchise tag. I think he leaves in free agency. So, I don't know if Gronk is going to be... Gronk obviously isn't going to be back if Brady isn't back. So, yeah, I think this might be legitimately the last dance for the Bucs. By the way, Leonard Fournette, playoff Lenny. Come on, man. Let's go. And then lastly, I understand being a prisoner of the moment, recency bias, but Chiefs Bills was probably the greatest game I've ever seen. It was just amazing. And we are so fortunate to have this Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes rivalry, which I think is going to be up there. At the end of the day, I think it's going to be up there with Brady Manning. Like Colts, Patriots, like because they would always finish first in their division, so they'd always play at least once a year. I think that's what's going to happen with the Chiefs and the Bills. So it's going to be fantastic. And you got to feel for Bills fans, man. Just to lose that way, where you get the go-ahead touchdown, Josh Allen just nails on that final drive, putting them up with 13 seconds left. You think that you're going to be good to go. Now, I understand why the Bills didn't squib kick it, because the Chiefs could have just fielded it, downed it, and time wouldn't have really run off the clock because the returner just could have given themselves up. So you would have sacrificed yardage and not taken much time off. So I understand that one. But Patrick Mahomes, how does he do it? How does he do it? And so Leslie Frazier and his defense, top dog this entire year. But, of course, you're on the road against Mahomes. Like, what are you going to do? But I think that they overthought themselves. Like, they were defending the end zone against Mahomes on that last play, or the final two plays, actually. And they're just giving up that beautiful middle of the field where the Chiefs had all their timeouts. So what are we going to do? Huh? So they gave up the chunk play to Tyreek, and then they gave up that big play to Kelsey that set it up. So that's rough, man. And now this opens up the entire NFL overtime rules thing, because the Chiefs were skunked last time around 2019, where the Patriots just marched down and scored. But I think the overtime rules are fine. I mean, it's better than sudden death, where it actually was coin toss, hey, you're probably going to win. Because the Bills' defense, again, the number one scoring defense in the league, they could have got a stop. And they had the Chiefs, I think, on the first series to a third down. So they could have stopped the Chiefs. Like, their defense is still part of the game. Right? And I don't want to hear, oh, Josh Allen didn't get a chance and it was decided by a coin toss. Again, the Bills' defense could have stopped the Chiefs from marching 75 yards for the score. I mean, that's all. That's all. But, yeah, you feel bad for Bills Mafia. It's all right. Well, I do guess, I don't think they should change overtime rules for the regular season, but for the playoffs specifically, if you want to do both teams get a possession, and if it's still tied after that, then it's sudden death, I could get on board with that. But as of right now, I think it's fine. But, man, some heroic friggin' performances in this game. Tyreek 11 for 150 and a touchdown, where if he gets the ball in open space, like, you go back and look at some of his highlights when he was a running back at Oklahoma State, and yeah, you can see it right there. Travis Kelsey might go down as one of the greatest tight ends of all time, if not the greatest. Like, he may surpass Gronk. He's got a couple more good seasons with Mahomes and Andy Reid, absolutely. But we got to talk about Gabriel Davis, the pride of UCF. Go Knights, baby. 8 for 201 and an NFL record 4 touchdowns. Wow. Just insane, man. Now, he obviously benefited greatly because the Chiefs were just like, hey, Stephon Diggs is not going to beat us. And Diggs, man, 3 catches for 7 yards. 7 on 6 targets, where the Bills and Daboll have been so great this year at, even though everyone's trying to take away 14, still getting him the ball, but it just didn't do it. Yeah. You feel bad for Diggs. You feel bad for Josh Allen, who, I mean, Josh Allen played a friggin' rock star game, man. All right. And you know what's still insane? Josh Allen was probably the most polarizing draft prospect that I can even remember. Like, there were people who said he was going to be a bust, 1,000%. 1,000 people believed in his talent. Could he be accurate? Caliber of competition. But yeah, he's developed into an elite NFL quarterback, top 3, and maybe he's not even 3 at this stage, right? But Mahomes, friggin' A. Now this is why playoffs should count in the MVP voting, because you would think, oh, but what about the teams that didn't make the playoffs? You think the most valuable player is going to be on a team that didn't make the playoffs? Please. But Mahomes, how does he do it? How does he do it? Just, yeah. So like we said, this, again, not hyperbolic. This might have been the greatest weekend in NFL history, straight up. And we got 2 great matchups for conference title game weekend. Chiefs, Bengals. That's going to be a great game. Like jumping Joe Burrow against Patrick Mahomes. Can the Bengals do it? The Bengals are only, they're touchdown dogs. But can they do it in Arrowhead? Even though I love me the Chiefs, I'm rooting for the Bengals. Sorry. I have to do it. And then Niners, Rams, Redux. Like, we'll see how much of SoFi is Niner red, just like last time around. Or Matthew Stafford's wife going to be like, please don't sell your tickets to Niners fans. No. Niner gang coming on down. I'm actually rooting for like an old school, like 80s Bill Walsh, Sam Weish rematch. I want Niners, Bengals, and then Bengals one time. Just one time, baby. But that's it. That's our recap of the absolutely fabulous NFL divisional round. What are your thoughts and our thoughts? Let us know in the comments section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.